So you're thinking about buying a short-term rental, an Airbnb, Verbo, here in or near Scottsdale. Today, I'm gonna give you my 12 tips to maximize the rentability and the profitability. Let's get to it. So for those of you that know me, maybe you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I built my original real estate business from 1999 to 2008 strictly on investors. In fact, 75% of my clientele from 99 to 2008 were investors coming here either to Las Vegas up until 2004 and from 2004 to 2008 here in the Phoenix Valley. So today, 12 tips to maximize your rentability and your profitability. Let's jump right in. Let's start with number one. Number one, always location. Obviously, you know, you can start with location on almost anything that you talk about when it comes to real estate. Obviously, location, location, location. But very, very important with Airbnb. If you get way out in the remote areas, it's going to be much harder. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but much more difficult. You want to be where the action is. So think of it like this. If I'm going to the beach in California, do I want to stay at the beach or as close to the beach, or do I want to live 30 minutes or stay 30 minutes from the beach? The answer is closer to the beach, the better. The closer you are to the beach, the more time you're going to spend there. Same thing here in Scottsdale. Of course, we don't have the beach in Scottsdale, but what we do have is Old Town Scottsdale. That's where everything takes place. It's where the best restaurants, the best shopping, the best nightlife, where when the Super Bowl comes to town, all the activities take place. When national championship games come to town, that's where all the activities take place. Everything happens in or around Old Town Scottsdale. Now, the Waste Management Phoenix Open isn't too far. Of course, that's in North Scottsdale. But again, you want to be, if possible, you want to be in the Old Town Scottsdale area is ideal. Now you say, Todd, it's a little saturated down there right now. Well, yeah, so is the beach, right? So you have to make your choices based on, are you going to deal with a little competition? By the way, which is why I have the 12 strategies today. Okay, make sure you stay to the end. You want to maximize that rentability and profitability. You got to know all 12 strategies. But yes, it is going to be more saturated, just like it would be if you bought a beach property in California. So let's say you don't want that competition. What are the other options? The other options is you could be somewhere on the 101 loop, which loops around Scottsdale, down into the Chandler area. So you could be down in that Tempe Chandler area. You could be a little bit further north in Scottsdale, although you're going to pay more as you get further north in Scottsdale. You're going to pay more for those properties. You could even be around the 101 loop a little bit to the west, up in the North Phoenix area. So I'm going to shoot a separate video showing you an aerial view of where the ideal locations are for your Airbnb, but you can get outside of the area just a little bit. Now, why Scottsdale? Well, I mentioned it. Old Town, we know, is the hub. It's the epicenter of entertainment, shopping, restaurants in Arizona. Everything, but again, everything happens in Scottsdale. So whether it's in Old Town Scottsdale or in North Scottsdale, things like the Waste Management Phoenix Open, the Barrett-Jackson Auto Auction, especially those prime months, January through March, Scottsdale is where you want to be. You know, I created Phoenix Homes and Hotspots to connect homes with the lifestyle around those homes using the power of video and community. What's up, everybody? My name is Todd Hall. I'm founder of Phoenix Homes and Hotspots right here in beautiful, sunny Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, if you're moving to the Phoenix Metro or thinking about moving to Phoenix, Scottsdale, and you want to know not just where all the great homes are, but what is the community like that surrounds that house, and as well as all the local hotspots in the area, restaurants, shopping, hiking, golf, whatever it might be, you've come to the right spot. We're going to connect all the dots for you. And listen, if you're coming out to the Phoenix Metro, you want to do some of our homes and hotspots tours, all you got to do is give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. That way we can be your key to AZ. So when we're thinking about maximizing our profitability and rentability on an Airbnb, we have to put ourselves in a potential occupant shoes. Somebody that was taking a week vacation that doesn't want to stay in a hotel room for obvious reasons, right? They want to actually stay in an Airbnb. And the reason for that is it feels like a home away from home. So that's what we need to create when we're creating our Airbnb. So number 2 on our list is going to be the contemporary upgrades that need to go into the home. Now, does the home have to be completely upgraded? No. Are you going to have a better chance of renting it? Yes. Is it going to rent for more? Likely, right? People are going to select your home first if it has the contemporary upgrades because number 1, it's going to photograph well. Number 2, it's going to be a very comfortable property to live in. So what are we looking for when we're looking for our upgrades? Well, the first thing, just like if you were renovating your home, again, put yourself now in an owner's shoes. You're renovating your house for you to live in. You want the kitchen and bathroom, right? Kitchen and bathroom upgrades. What does that include? And by the way, flooring throughout. So flooring throughout the home, okay, upgraded. Preferably here in Arizona, we use a lot of tile. Sometimes we use tile that looks like wood. It has kind of that wood effect. But flooring throughout, then we want our kitchens and bathrooms upgraded. So what are we looking at? We're looking at countertops. Okay, we're looking at cabinets. Now, do you have to replace the cabinets? No, but painted is good. Painted is perfectly fine as long as it's professionally done, by the way. A lot of people paint their cabinets and cabinets aren't easy. In fact, most people shouldn't even be painting their own walls, let alone their cabinets. So you want a professional to go out there and paint those cabinets. Obviously, some really nice hardware. Appliances, upgraded appliances, stainless steel, black, whatever fits your color scheme of your home. Today, most of what we're looking at would be, most of the time you're looking at stainless steel appliances here in Arizona. Obviously, fresh paint throughout as well. We'll talk in a minute about what that should look like, but fresh paint, it can be two-tone, but at minimum freshly painted, hopefully with a little bit of color, not just white walls, although white walls can work as long as everything else looks good. And then the yard. Look, the yard is key. Not so much the front yard. We want the front yard to be clean. We want it to be presentable, especially for those photos. But the backyard, we want the backyard. Ideally, in a perfect world, we want to have some grass back there, whether it's natural or artificial grass. Here in Arizona, we use a lot of artificial grass today. So it could be either. In a perfect world, though, we don't want just a bunch of rock in the backyard. So those are the things that we're looking for as far as our upgrades. And again, think of yourself as a potential tenant for 1 week or a weekend. They're looking for a home away from home. We want it to be as comfortable as possible, so the upgrades are really key. All right, number 3, we just talked about all of the upgrades. We talked about paint, flooring, countertops, cabinets. Here's the deal. We need to make sure they're neutral. So today, whites and grays are really popular. You still get away with some browns, but whites and grays are really, really popular today. We do not want crazy colored walls, crazy colored flooring, carpets, countertops, cabinets. We certainly don't want them to look outdated if we can avoid it, right? We want to have everything looking really contemporary, but again, part of that contemporary is making sure that we stay neutral in our color schemes. Number 4, this is a big one, lighting. Now again, we need the property to photograph well. So lighting is so key. It is impossible, almost impossible, to take great photographs of a dimly lit property. So lighting is 2 things. Lighting can be natural lighting. Sometimes we can use skylights to highlight some of the natural lighting, or just a lot of big windows, big patio doors. Some homes already have great natural lighting. Some do not. If you don't have great natural lighting and you're not willing to spend the money to put some in, option 2 is to make sure you have lots of really good recessed lighting throughout the house, okay? So one way or the other, we need to create great lighting inside of the house. Dimly lit homes not only don't sell well, they don't rent well, okay? So if you want to get those homes rented out, we're going for as much lighting, natural and, in a perfect world, both natural and some of that recessed can lighting as we can possibly get. All right, number 5, obviously if we're doing short-term rentals, whether it's an Airbnb, Vrbo, or whatever that looks like, we need to make sure that it's completely furnished, number 1. We wanna make sure there's nothing left that occupant for the weekend or for the week or even for the month could possibly need. We wanna make sure that place is decked out with everything. As far as the furniture itself, number 1, It should be nice contemporary furniture, okay? Again, fits the scheme of the house based on the color scheme that you put together. It should fit the overall scheme of the home really nicely. Here's what a lot of people miss though. A lot of times in these Airbnbs, they'll put in really contemporary furniture that looks sexy in photos, and then you get there and you sit on the couch and it's uncomfortable and you don't want to spend any time watching TV in your downtime or free time at night because you don't want to sit on the couch. I've actually stayed in those things and it's not fun. And if you want reviews, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, if you want great reviews, make sure that your furniture doesn't just look sexy on photos and videos, but it actually, when a tenant gets to the property, let's make sure that they're actually comfortable for the time that they're staying there as well. That's the thing that's really overlooked and missed a lot of times in these Airbnbs because they're so focused on what the furniture looks like, they don't focus on the overall comfortability. Hey, if you haven't gotten enough here on this YouTube channel and you want more great content on what to do while you're visiting the Phoenix Metro, I just created a new Facebook group. It's called Scottsdale Communities and Hotspots. So when you're done here, head over there. I'm going to show you all the top hotspots in and around Scottsdale, Arizona, from restaurants, nightlife, shopping, golfing, hikes, special events coming to town. I'm going to do some video walkthroughs with local owners and them walking you through their hotspot. And you're going to get lots of great local residents and their recommendations for what you should do while you're visiting here in the Phoenix Metro. So again, when you're done here, head over to the Facebook group, Scottsdale Communities and Hotspots. We'll see you over there. So look, if you are focused on Scottsdale or the general area around Scottsdale, there's a couple different types of properties that you might buy to Airbnb. The first one would be a single family home. Okay, that would be the obvious one. The second would be a condo or a townhome. Perfectly fine. And if you're trying to save money, I still get people that will call me and say, you know, Todd, I'm looking for something. I don't want to spend $700,000-$800,000 in Scottsdale. I'd rather spend $300,000 to $400,000. Can we find it? Yes. Right now, today, we absolutely can still find some of those properties. You might have to put a little bit of money still into them with some of the other things that we've talked about, but we can still find some pretty nice 2-bedroom properties that are condo townhomes in or near the Scottsdale area. So what are we looking for? So number 5, by the way, or number 6, I'm sorry, is amenities. So with amenities, if we're looking at, if we're just looking at a single family home, I prefer a house with a pool. They're more rentable, number 1. They will rent for more, number 2. But number 3, in those summer months, which are harder months to rent here in Arizona, by the way, it's really hot here, doesn't mean you can't rent. And I'm going to talk about an approach here in just a second to help you rent in those hot summer months. But the pool is really going to help you out all year long, especially in the hot summer months. Now, the exception to that with single family homes, the exception to that would be Old Town Scottsdale. I do have clients that will buy in Old Town Scottsdale without a pool because there's so many other things to do. As long as there's some fun stuff that you can put in the yard and do in the yard, Old Town Scottsdale would be my exception. If I'm buying anywhere else, I want a pool at the property, okay? So that's single family homes. Now, by the way, as far as amenities, if you're buying a condo or a townhome, same thing. We want a pool. Sometimes you'll get a couple pools, right? A couple really nice pools at the property. Fitness centers, grills, and some of those things. If we're looking, again, condo townhomes, as many amenities around that as we can possibly get. So number 6 on our list was great amenities. All right, you want my best tips? One of my best tips is number 7. This is something that pretty much nobody does. Everybody misses the boat on this, almost everybody. Okay, number 7 is add-ons. It's like adding on your own amenities to your property for cheap. I was going to California last year, and I was looking for a property at the beach in Hermosa Beach, in the Hermosa Beach area, Hermosa, Manhattan, Redondo Beach area. And I wanted a property with a barbecue, with a grill. Man, I'm going out there for a week. I want to grill. I want to be able to cook. It's one of the reasons that I like Airbnb is I can actually cook some of my own, not all of them, but some of my own meals. And I love being outdoors in California. So I was looking for a grill. I couldn't find one. I ended up having to settle. There was a place that had a grill that didn't work that I found out once I got there. The grill never got set up. She actually bought it for me. I contacted her, and then she never got it set up. So I got there and didn't end up getting the grill. Look, a grill is something you can add on very cheaply. and actually put it in your listing. People like it. It sets you apart. Most of these properties don't have something as simple as a barbecue grill. Now, if you're in Old Town Scottsdale, as an example, or if you're in an area where there's bike paths, walking trails, if you're in Old Town, you have the green belt right there. You have lots of parks. You have lots of walking and biking trails in the Old Town Scottsdale area. So I would add one of a couple things, potentially a couple bikes. Okay, put a couple of bikes there at the property, or put a couple of electric scooters there. I prefer bikes, although both can work. Okay, so bikes and electric scooters are a fantastic add-on. They're cheap, guys. They're cheap, and they're going to help your property. It's going to help your property get set apart from some of the other stuff that's there. Then put it in your photos, put it in your description. Make sure people actually see it, and the bikes and scooters, by the way, will actually help you promote the fact that you're sitting right next to a green belt, or right next to a park, or right next to a walking or biking trail. So it makes it easy to actually promote those things through your photographs as well. A grill, bikes, electric scooters, now earlier I mentioned, so make sure that you have a little bit of grass in the backyard, right? It's not just desert rock in the backyard. Because if you have some grass back there, even if you have a pool, so maybe you have a pool on one side, grass on the other side, now you can put some fun yard games out there. You can put cornhole and some other fun yard games out there as add-ons. Again, they photograph really well. They show people, hey, even when we're at home, this is our home away from home, there's gonna be some fun, cool things to do. So you can put some yard games out there. And then obviously if you're in if you buy a single family home as your short-term rental, you're gonna have a washer dryer, you're gonna have everything. But in a condo townhome, sometimes people have to go down to a coin-operated washer dryer. In a perfect world, doesn't, if you find the perfect place that doesn't have an in-unit washer and dryer, don't freak out. But if we can get it, we want an in-unit washer and dryer as well. Now, one of the things that is not necessarily on my list, but I think I've alluded to it many times, is now tying a lot of the stuff we've talked about together. We want to make sure that we do a great job with our photos. Make sure the property is professionally photographed. You can even throw some video in there, but make sure it's done really, really well. So it's not one of my 12, but I've alluded to it a bunch. Everything we're doing is we're trying to create a really nice visual image for our potential clients. I've been in the real estate business now since 1999. So I know your pain points. And the number one pain point is finding the right real estate consultant to work with, but the other one is finding the right loan broker. Now listen, I haven't told very many people this, but my first couple of years in the business, I almost left the business. And it was because there were things in a real estate transaction that I personally couldn't control. And that number one thing was that my loan brokers that I was referring my clients to were dropping the ball. Couldn't have been more frustrating. So I know if it was frustrating for me, it's frustrating for you. Look, you need somebody that's going to give you the best communication. They're going to do what they say they do. They close your loan on time, but also they give you the best pricing, the lowest interest rates, and the lowest closing costs without having to haggle with them. The loan team I work with now, I've been working with since 2005. They are the best of the best of the best. My clients thank me every time they use them. If you want them as well on your team, you want to be on our team, you know what to do. Pick up the phone, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I'll make sure you get hooked up with the best team here in the Phoenix Metro. Now listen, let's get back to this video. Now, number 8, we want to have the ideal bedroom count. This is fairly simple. If I'm looking at a condo or townhome, I want at least 2 bedrooms most of the time. Could I do 1 bedroom or even a potential studio in Old Town Scottsdale? Yes, but two plus bedrooms, most of the time it's gonna be 2 bedrooms. 2 bedrooms is ideal. That's what I want, that's what I'm looking for. They'll rent faster, they'll rent for more money. The second, now if I'm looking at single family homes, obviously I want at least 3 bedrooms. In a perfect world, I want 4 or 5. The more bedrooms, the better. A bedroom can always go vacant, but it's, if you have a family that needs 4 or 5 bedrooms, there's only so many properties that they're going to be able to look at, right? So you can always rent a 4 bedroom and only use 3. You can't rent a 3 bedroom and maximize it for 4 people. So the more bedrooms, the better. 3 is fine. But if I can get a 4 or 5 bedroom, the right property, and I can get 4 or 5 bedrooms, more bedrooms is always better. And by the way, when you go to sell the property, it's going to be, that's going to be a benefit for you as well. Now, this is a fun one. Number 9 is my secret sauce. Number 9 is my hybrid approach to renting your property. Now, I'm not going to go real deep into it because I've shot in another video. If you check the link right above me, I've shot an entire video talking about how to strategize your Airbnb rentals. But just real quick, hybrid approach means that for a portion of the year, the prime portion of the year, you're going to use it as an Airbnb to maximize your money January through March, maybe a little bit into April. The rest of the year, you're going to use it as a short-term rental. And when I say short-term rental, I mean 2-3 months at a time, right? So in the summer months, you might rent it out to somebody that's out here looking for a home or waiting for their home to be built or trying to discover new areas to buy or rent. Somebody that's out here just needing 2 to 3 months. And there's a lot of those people, by the way. Okay. Now, by the way, circling back to the pool, if I want to rent in those summer months, if I have a home with a pool, I can, that pool is going to jump out to the front, right? For those 2 to 3 month rentals. So I'm going to use a hybrid approach. Again, not going to talk too much about it here, but check out that video. I had it linked earlier. It'll be in the description below, and it'll be linked at the very end of this video as well for you to check out. All right, now piggybacking off of my hybrid approach, let's talk about number 10. Don't get greedy. Understand your seasonal pricing, ladies and gentlemen. If you want the house to sit vacant, price it above or even at where everybody else is priced. If you want to rent it, make sure that you understand market value and make sure that you price it. If you've worked the hybrid approach, by the way, well enough, and you've really maximized January through March, you don't have to kill the rest of the year, right? Just make sure that you get it rented so you have cash flow coming in. Understand seasonal pricing. Now, obviously, we can help out with that. Some of my clients will use things like Zillow. For Airbnb, you're better off using AirDNA, right, to understand your pricing and use the Airbnb website for that. But if you're trying to rent in the summer months, give me a call. Let's discuss what that should look like so we can make sure that your property is not sitting vacant the rest of the year and you're really maximizing your profitability all year long. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get greedy. Have you ever gone into a property, an Airbnb, and you get there and the first thing you find are ants or maybe a dead cockroach or maybe the toilet doesn't flush? Look, you got to maintain the property. Now, the good news here in Arizona, if you're a client of mine, I have a phenomenal team that'll get out right away and address any maintenance issues you have. If you're doing Airbnb, we can help set up some of the people to turn those properties over on the short as well. But again, if your tenant calls and complains, I can have somebody out there almost instantly to deal with any maintenance issues. In fact, this team is seasoned in turning properties over for renters. So my landlords will use these guys. If a 12-month tenant goes in, the first person that goes in after that tenant moves out is my team of, and they do everything, by the way, but they'll go out and they'll turn the property over. But one of the things that they'll do is they'll actually note if there's anything the tenant broke or whatever, so we know if we need to hold any deposit back. So again, have a fantastic team, but this one really should go without being said. Look, if you're going to get in the landlord business, you got to maintain your property, got to make sure that all of these first 11 things are met so that we can get to number 12 and make sure that we maximize number. And so what is number 12? Number 12 is the icing on the cake. It's why we did all of the other stuff. We need to exceed our guests' expectations. If you've ever been in the hospitality business, I used to work for Disney way back in the day, right out of college. I did an internship with Disney. But we have to exceed our clients' expectations. And the reason is obvious. Reviews are everything today. So we need to, once we're finished exceeding those expectations, we've met all the expectations from the first 11. Now at the very end, when that client moves out, you could, number one, you could actually have a guest book where people can write comments in the guest book, which is kind of cool. That doesn't really help future business, but it's kind of cool for the people that are there. It gives that perception that everybody's really happy. So when they go to leave a review, they're going to give you a 5-star review, which you really need. You need that review and you need those comments because people are looking at them and they're using them to decide which Airbnb they're going to rent. So if you don't exceed their expectations, you're going to get crappy reviews. You're not going to be in the short-term rental business for very long with crappy reviews. So look, these were my 12. Some of them obvious, some of them not so obvious, but they're all relevant. They're all important. This should be your checklist. This should be your 12-point checklist to make sure if you're getting into the Airbnb business, or you're buying more Airbnbs, or you already have Airbnbs and you're not having success, this should be your 12-point checklist to make sure you're maximizing the rentability, you're maximizing the profit. Hey, did you like that video? Show me some love. Hit the like button down below, drop a comment, let me know what your thoughts were. Then be sure you subscribe and tap that alert bell. And from there, I'm gonna do all the heavy lifting for you. We'll create the content. We will notify you every time we create new popular videos right here on Phoenix Homes and Hotspots. And then check the description below. I have some other related videos down there, or you can check out 2 of my most popular videos right here.